Happy Monday, boys and girls. My name is Jeffery Scott Mitchell. Coming to you live on Memorex. Default location, default route. This is very, almost, kinda, not really a thank God it's Monday. Yesterday was one of the laziest days I've had in a long time, but I acted reasonably and respectively in the calorie intake department. I didn't get my steps. For some reason, and I'm not sure why, the day didn't really get going until afternoon. I don't think I got out of bed until like 12:30, 1 o'clock for whatever. I can't even remember why. You know, of course, Black and Miles were definitely probably involved. I probably got that little shot to my system that kind of, you know, brought me down. Reduced my vibration. It was like 2:33, 4 o'clock before I think I really got moving to do anything. And that's, and other than that, so getting up so late, there's no room to take a nap. I had to stay up. Like, I can't take a nap at 7 o'clock. I can't take a nap this late today. I'll be up all night. I mean, I did okay. But that was just, it was just weird for me to get up and have most of the day gone. I used to be a morning person. I used to be in the office at my desk, logged in, ready for work at 6 a.m. at the place. Not getting up, not commuting to, in the joint. 6 o'clock in the morning, ready to go. Of course, I got out for work at 2:30. Was probably dead tired and sleep by 9 p.m. Something like that. Years ago. I used to be a morning person. I used to feel the energy too. Used to feel it. Getting up early and getting it going. My body would respond to it. It was like a jolt of energy getting up in the morning. Then I started work at 12 to 8. And I had to adjust my schedule a tad to where I had to stay up later. I had to learn how to, I literally had to learn how to stay up till 12:30, 1 o'clock. Teach my body. And not get up till 9 a.m. Something like that. Over time, I've adjusted. But that's neither here nor there, probably. I feel good. You probably can tell that I feel reasonably good. Mr. Scale told me 202.4 this morning, which is so good I don't believe it, considering 2 days off. But I really didn't eat that much. I think I had a pizza. Went to the store and got a pizza. You know, I got some cookies, some wafers. I had marshmallows. You know I'm gonna get stuff, stop. And I had hot dogs. I had a hot dog and hamburger yesterday. Frozen patty hamburger. Frozen beef patty. Threw it in the air fryer. Had some buns in the freezer. I'm out of buns now, so I got to get buns for when I get some more hamburger patties. I got to remember that. I got a bunch of hot dogs. They was on sale. I like the Oscar Mayer beef hot dog. It's specifically, not those cheap ones, not those Bar X or whatever, those cheap hot dogs you can get for like 99 cents a pack or something. I don't like my hot dogs all big. I like the thinner wiener kind, I guess. I don't know what to call them. I don't like them all thick and big. I don't want them exploding. So, that's pretty much where we are in the hot dog and hamburger department. Today is scheduled to be, this week is scheduled to be my first full week of work since my 12-week leave of absence. It's been 4 weeks. How many weeks has it been? I came back the 25th, the 2nd, let's say roughly the 2nd, 9th, 16th, 25th. Ooh. My microphone transmitter failed. See that? It fell out of my... It looks like it's still working. I had it on my belt loop. Uh-oh. Somebody... Oh, Miller High Life. That used to be mine. That's the one I used to do. But the bottle wasn't built like that. The bottle was smooth. It didn't have that sharp curvature in it. The other quart bottles did. Coke 45 had that. Old English had it. Mickey's was green, of course. Mickey's Big Mouth. We used to drink malt liquor. Slits malt liquor bull. Coke 45. They used to drink malt liquor. I backed off. Began drinking Miller High Life. Because, of course, I was Old English. I was even younger. I started off with Miller High Life. Like I started off with Miller High Life because I think it was, I can't remember which one it was. I think I was either smoking weed and not drinking, or drinking and not smoking weed. I think it was probably, more than likely, I was smoking weed and not drinking. I think that's pretty much the way it went. And they kind of got me into drinking. You know, peer pressure. Hey, try this, try this. Do this, do this, do this. Next thing you know, my personality ended up in life drinking too much, putting the weed down. Just drinking too much, gaining weight from it, drinking damn near 6-pack, 12-pack a night, cheap beer, losing jobs because of it, because of missing work, losing jobs, etc., etc. One good thing though from it, my drinking probably, it probably ruined my marriage. That's a good thing. No, I'm joking. I don't know. The thing is, I don't know who or what I'd be if I'd have remained married. And I'm sure I'd have been something. You know, I still would have been extraordinary in some manner or form. I don't, you know, I would have taken it to another level in a different way. But the bottom line is, the way I feel right now about myself, I just absolutely love. And here come these two people again. Let me show you. Oh look, see? Can you see? You probably can't see. Well anyway, somebody driving really close, riding their bike really close in the walking lane. This is the walking lane. Now, people like to ride side by side. And usually these old cats don't know how to move over. These don't look like the old cats, though. These look like something different. They is struggling, though, like it's all hard for them to do. They got to move over. They can't be doing this. See how they don't move over? Supposed to go single file and, like, move over.
It's not right. It's usually...
They old. They probably could barely do what they could do. He probably just happy he out here. They need to move over. Go single file, get in that lane over here, and stay far away from me. Go through this every day. I'm serious. Yeah, I'm sure I would have been extraordinary in one way or the other. I wonder how the atheism thing would have played out with me being married with kids and my ex-wife being so religious now. I don't know how she would have been had we stayed together and I'd have pursued maybe I'd have switched over and became a Christian. Nope, I doubt that very much. But you never know. You never know. And one thing I do kind of say about regrets in my life, if there's one thing I regret, it very well may be that I wasn't there to get in between my children and their mother. She spoiled them rotten. I mean, she spoiled them to the point that where one of them, at the least, doesn't do well independently. The other one always needs somebody around. And they do well. They have a personality to have other people around. Whereas the other one don't want to be bothered with nobody. Most of the time, until she, looks like I gave it away, who is who, until she in the mood to be with people, and I got no problem with that. I got no problem with the independence of it all. None. You know that. That can be said. I got no problem with the independence of it all. So I always think, one of the things I say, but I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. Because, maybe, like I said, we need all kinds. Maybe, Youngstown is good for them. It is definitely something, though. I will say this. There's going to be benefits from it. There's going to be benefits for my kids being back in Youngstown. It's definitely going to be a benefit. It's kind of fun that I go back and visit. They have established, a place there, a life and assets, and a foundation there. And I can go back. And if I was to retire back there, the way I got it planned, I'd do okay. I would do okay. I would do very okay, in fact. So, I was just thinking, if I get a place back there, though, and, I'm traveling a lot, can't worry about somebody breaking in my house. I guess I'd get an apartment or something, or a condo or something. I'd get something, to where somebody would be around, kind of a house. You get a house, single family dwelling, and it's kind of, just distance between the house next to it, and the house sitting empty becomes kind of obvious. It's easy to break into a house. Not easy, but you know what I mean. Remember, I get a secure building, townhouse, condo, something like that. Put an alarm system in, blah, 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 blah. How secure it, you know. By then, they probably had new technologies. Everybody was using Simply Safe back there. But we'll see. We'll see. So, you know, you just have to be open to the opportunities presented to you. Life doesn't operate in a straight line. Life doesn't happen boom, 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 boom a lot of times. There's nuances that favor you or can cause a disharmony or an interruption. And even from then, you could pivot and very quite possibly create something more advantageous than what the current plan or situation or strategy would. Just got to be open. Like my man Littlefinger said in Game of Thrones, chaos is a ladder. I like that. I remember that. He said chaos is a ladder. And to a certain degree, I definitely believe that. Things get scattered or this or that or in disarray, or you got to look at a situation, possibly rebuild it, restructure it, blah, 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 blah. You know, I definitely see opportunities in such things. Also, my laptop is running out of hard drive. And so it's only got 500 gigs. And it's full because it's my laptop. So it has everything on it. You know, it has everything. Quote unquote, everything. So when I take my laptop out, I want it to be just as capable as the desktop at home. Because the desktop at home got like 4 hard drives in it, blah, blah, blah. I got enough, you know. I got space in a desktop to just stack it full of whatever you need in it. But the laptop is more slimline, and you really can't pack it full of hardware. You're limited. So I looked up, and the hard drive that my laptop uses is a M2.2230. It's a different kind of hard drive, solid state hard drive. It's not SATA, it's not IDE, it's like a chip, and it's different. So that's what kind of put me off upgrading this and upgrading that and doing this and doing that to it. But I looked up, I did research for probably about a couple weeks, found out what kind of hard drive I needed because I didn't want to take the thing apart. So I just did research, pulled the service tag number, plugged the service tag number into my Dell account so I can, you know, reference the device, my hardware, blah, blah, et cetera, et cetera. You know, get the specs on it and go from there. So I bought a hard drive, M2.2230, 1 terabyte hard drive for $99. It was on sale, so I was like, give me one. And then I bought a adapter. Adapter don't seem to work. First of all, it was hard squeezing that down, the chip into the adapter. It didn't seem to go in correctly. Then I plugged it in and tried to make it work. It wouldn't work. So what I did was, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a boot disk, a boot USB stick, which is running right now. I got up this morning. I left a little bit later. Left probably about 10 minutes later than I usually do. And why? Because I like to get my work laptop up and running on the network, running updates if it needs to, connect it, let it sit, let it marinate on the network, you know. Let it run whatever it needs to do. Because it's first time, it's been off for a couple days. So I got that, I plugged that in. And while I was doing that, I actually went to the Windows website and started creating a boot disk. I created a boot disk. So what I'm doing, I'm gonna fire the laptop up on the boot disk and see if it sees the internal drive. Oh, and also I made a backup copy, a restore backup copy of my Windows, the laptop. Let that run for a bunch of hours. So I got like a restore copy that I should be able to take a blank hard drive, boot it from the boot disk, and do a restore. Do a restore, and then go from there. And it should, you know, come back. That way I can move my Windows license to this other computer. That's the whole point of doing the restore. Hey, what's up, man? So you still out there? Yeah. That's cool, dude. He be walking so cool. I thought he was black. He had that kind of cool stride. So that's the plan today. And if I messed up, I'll just send the parts back that I can spend, you know, the stuff I got from Amazon. I'll send back, you know, that's no problem. I'll return it. I ain't worried about that. Well, I was thinking about my mother. She ordered some stuff, and it went to another place. It went to, cause she be ordering stuff, you know, for her great grandkids, and you gotta switch the address. I've done that before. Like I had stuff delivered to my daughter's house that was supposed to come to my house, et cetera, et cetera. You know, I do it occasionally, but old lady getting old, she make a lot of mistakes like that. She making like a lot of mistakes like that. We gotta clean them up. You know, she's doing what she can. I mean, she in there. Not a lot to do, not a lot to think about. You know, so she gonna try to keep her mind going. You know, keep her things going in her life. Don't want to be stagnant. Don't want to do anything. You know, you get bored. You know, her brain's going 100 miles an hour. The body can't do maybe 10% of what it's supposed to do. So she just wants to do stuff that she can do. And one of her favorite things to do, Instacart, online ordering. And just see when she orders stuff online, we gotta get it. We gotta watch for the price. We gotta bring it in. We gotta put it away. We gotta do everything. We gotta assemble it, everything. You know, she ordered groceries. Watch out for the groceries. Lady, you're giving me work. You know, every time, as my sister say, don't, you know, whatever she do, she can't finish. We gotta finish for her. But I guess she been getting out of bed, getting in a chair. They got a lifter. My sister say she could use the lifter, get her out of there, get her in a wheelchair. You know, and they go around the kitchen or so. So, you know, that's gonna be that. So I know when I come out there, Jeffery, you get me in a chair. I got a work woman. I got a regiment. My day is planned. That's one thing I might want to start thinking about. Might start considering adjusting my regiment, my routine to allow for time for her. I'm just not that kind of person. I told y'all before, I don't compromise well, if I compromise at all. So I got a regimen. 9 a.m. From 9 a.m. till 7:50 p.m. my day is full. I got just about every moment in that day appropriated to a task or relaxation, even breakfast, walking, steps, work, etc., etc. Turn around, get this person who's walking a little bit of distance from me. And I feel like running and passing them. It seems like when you're walking by people, they speed up. I don't even think they realize it. It seems like they speed up. Sound like somebody having a time. I hear entertainment. Thought I heard somebody screaming. But then I'm coming up on this Jewish temple school thingy. Maybe they having some kind of ritual. But this screaming didn't seem like that kind of. That's it. And this place has a security guard, like a policeman there. It's very usually not action going on down here. It's very usually not much going on in this part. As you can see, it becomes a little bit more affluent. Valley Village, I guess. You know, a little step up. Little step up of I guess closer to Sherman Oaks, north-south wise, something like that. I don't know. I just know it's a little bit more affluent feeling in this area. They keep it pretty much policed. I don't remember seeing no homeless encampments like it, you know, back towards my way. They're gonna clean that up too eventually. And not just because of the Olympics, but maybe because of the Olympics. Not just because of the Olympics. They're gonna clean that up too. Almost guarantee it. Especially if they can get the Metro, the Van Nuys Metro station rebuilt and a new. I wonder if they're trying to do that before the Olympics. I think they are. I think they are. Because people stay way up here. Olympics is so big, people stay miles and miles away from it and gotta commute. And it's so spread out, all the events are spread out all over Los Angeles. Los Angeles is big. New York is built on top of itself. LA is spread out. You need a car. And probably because public transit ain't all that. Well, it's something, but it's not like back east where you can damn near take public transit between Philadelphia and DC. And you can live in Philadelphia and work in DC and catch the train every day. Like an hour or so. Or whatever, hour and a half, whatever it was. In fact, that's what I might do next month. Which I gotta start looking into. Cause it's gonna come up fast. I can't miss no days of work. Gotta build up that PTO when I get back. You know, it's gonna be interesting. Usually I get back, get my breakfast, and kind of, sit down in my chair and relax. But we'll see how much of that I do today, because doing work, I'm not messing around. Thursday and Friday, my boss kind of said this, but it seems like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, a lot of work. Everybody calling in, blah, 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 blah. Everybody seems like they're trying to get their work done for the weekend. Let's come Thursday and Friday. I ain't gonna say it's quiet, because it's definitely not quiet. Quiet is way too strong a word. But there are moments where you don't have an email action. Email's not coming to your queue, a call or a chat. There's moments where you just kind of, there's nothing going on, actually. It's kind of amazing. And of course, we got other people on our team answering the phones. So they, I think it was like 4 of us. I think it was only like 4 of us the other day. And I looked, and I was had the most experience. I was the senior. And being that, it's not that I had to accept it, kind of, but I knew I had to be the one. I was the one. I was the one who was there the most. And I want to be looked and respected as that. I might not be a level 2, don't want to, go up. I won't say where I'm at. But I've been there for 10, 11 years versus the people who were there. Versus the people who were there on that shift with me. They basically just started. Well, 2, 3 years. Maybe 3, 4 years, whatever. But I was the one with the most seniority and experience. So if something was to go down, it would be on me in my mind, it would be on me to, handle the business of the team and, keep the team reputation or keep our, get our work done. It would be, not that it's my responsibility, but I would assume I would feel obligated to step up and assume at least the leadership role, knowing that I may not have the knowledge of the workings that some of the newer, younger cats got. Knowing how to go to them and say, hey man, anybody know how to do this? All right, let's do this. And I'll tell them, say, look, I've been here the longest. I'm not trying to be anybody's boss. I just want to play point till we get through this. I ain't trying to take over. We ain't got time for our democratic election. I got the most years here, so I'm just playing point. I'm nobody's boss. I'm just playing the point figure. So, if, that's just something go down. We got to file for a major incident. And speaking of major incidents, that's one thing that it's one thing that I need to brush up on in the back of my mind that I need to handle, that I got to get more familiar with, was major incidents. If something go down, there's a process, protocol in place that they've been banging into us over and over. It's not their fault if we don't do it right, because God knows they gave us the tools, the resources, the paperwork, the instructions, and they harp on it every so often to check this, check that, make sure you don't do this. For some reason, I think major incidents must be, now that I think about it, must be high profile for my department. And it is, because we're the first one to know if so-and-so is down. And if so-and-so go down, some of these systems, they go down, that could be millions of dollars. Could be tens of millions of dollars. Could be, Usually things could wait a little bit. But, and the people working on those cases, and the people who need to get this done by a certain time, people need to get that at a certain time. You know, it feels to them like, oh my God, you know, this is crucial, urgent. I need to get this to the client by blah, blah, blah. We lose this or that. So, and we're the front line. We're going to be the first to know if something like that happens. They call us. Everything is call us. If there's something wrong, call technology. Call GTSC, call us. And I started to realize that for the company, you know, people call us. Whatever it is. Sometimes it could be anything, and we get a call. And where I'm at now, I feel I can handle any call. I can get the answer to just about any call. Now, do I want to go through it to do it? Like if I get a call, oh, my desk broke. You know, the actual standing desk, the motor don't go up and down or something like that. That's not the technology department, but I think that's We Services. But anyway, whoever it is, I feel like I should be able to find out in the pinch. Sometimes I don't want to, you know. I don't feel like going that extra mile. I say, look, you got to call the operator. Let them, because sometimes I don't want to make that call. You know, I don't want to make that call and be in error or like that. Sometimes I'm just not as sure-footed as I could be. And I'm like, call this number, they'll know for sure. I don't want to give you the runaround and, you know, give you some bad intel. But I love my job. Do I love my job? Do I love my job? Do I love my job? I love working for this company. I love the position. And to be honest with you, I don't love it. I wish I would get more out of it. I wish it felt more rewarding. But I don't hate it. And I think that's the most important, because even though, you know, I'm probably not capable of hating anything just based on my upbringing and my life experience. I'm probably not capable of hating anything. Nothing in my life has pushed me to a point of such anger and angst and desperation or whatever, or just anger or whatever. Nothing has pushed me to that point to where I had to achieve such a high degree of aggression or emotional turmoil, or just, you know, you just be desperate or threatened or mad or whatever, to the point where you start hating something, fearing it and hating it. I've never had that training. So it's like, you know, I think to hate, you gotta be taught to hate. You just don't wake up hating. You can not like something. It doesn't mean you hate it. I'm trying to see what this says. That look like 6. Look like the volume wasn't as loud as I'd like it to be. Wait a minute, is this? Oh my God. I forgot to put the microphone thing on. So you just hear me. I forgot to put the microphone thing in. I forgot to put this in. I'm gonna put it in now. See what I'm talking about? Old people. Now I think it's there. Let's see how big difference that make. Well, we'll see how big a difference it make, huh? I forgot to put that on. And I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at the audio indicator, and it's like, it's not going up high enough, I don't think. It's not going up high enough, I don't think. Happy Monday. Happy Monday to you. Happy Monday to you. Happy Monday to you. It Yeah, it's good. And of course, it's Saturday. Before I get out of bed, I found and got tickets to 3 concerts on the East Coast. P-Funk, of course. So that's kind of nice. It's kind of nice to wake up Saturday morning, laying in the bed, still fairly quiet, you know, in the building. Nobody doing landscaping. They do landscaping on Monday, which is in the bed. It starts about 8, 8:39 or 8 or something like that. It's gas and what? It's gas machine. Start Monday, right by my window, which isn't bad. It's about the time to get up anyway. And I got the window. The air comes through, and there's like another apartment building, fairly close, and a wall, fairly close, you know. So sound is like trapped in there, and it's almost magnified, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you hear all kind of stuff. But it's, you know, every now and then, and it's not bad. It's almost a welcome break, a disturbance. You know, somebody might have some people over at night, and they laughing and they be drinking, and, you know, talking and doing stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. Is that my girl over there? I think it is. Doing her trash thing. Getting the cans and recyclables. So that's how that goes. On a Monday in July. Yep, that's her. Going through the garbage, getting her cans and recyclables. Recyclables out here are profitable. You can not sustain a living, but they're worth it. They're worth it. In fact, the story that I hear, back in Ohio, well, one of the people I kind of grew up, knew in the neighborhood, lives in Nevada, in LA or something, and they don't have good recycling in Nevada and Vegas. If you know Vegas ain't nothing but cans and bottles everywhere you look. But I guess it's not worth collecting them and saving them and turning them in there. So what he does, he gets a storage unit, fills it up, and then every, so often, 6 months or so, he rents a truck, drives it all to LA to get, the higher recycling stuff. And he makes a profit, makes a pretty profit, because you in Vegas, I guess you got cans and stuff everywhere, It ain't nothing but a drinking place. Recyclables. But to make it worth it, you gotta bring them to California and get paid for them. So he do that every 6 months or so like that, I don't know, to the point that where, he's profitable. So you see a lot of people out here getting the cans and the plastics, and of course they're doing copper. That means they steal wires. Like all of these lights, none of them work. I don't know. Look, see down. But you come up here, somebody opened it up and try to steal all the copper. See, all these are open. And I think, in fact, when I was walking today, the cable people out there doing stuff. I was like, somebody cut them again? He was like, no, not this time. See this light here, how they tear all that up? And they go in there and they try to get the copper. And they take it and they sell it. And there's a copper place like right at the end of this walk. During my walk here. So, and all of these things are. So none of these lights are on. If these lights are on, this will be a very nice walk at night. Even at night, people be out here, but not in the dark. No, no, no. If this was well lit, you know, it'd be nice. People are be out here at night walking because folks ain't about that sun. It gets so hot. Folks ain't for that. Folks ain't for that at all. In fact, at night you see people walking their dogs as it gets dark, 7. Not dark, but dusk. See people out walking their dogs, 8, 9. It'd be dark. It'd be kind of be dark and people be out walking their dogs. Yeah, I got kind of a late start today because I was doing stuff. You know, I get up, I got a regimen. And I was thinking today, I don't know if I got the regimen to make your bed. I wonder if I got that from Jordan Peterson. Because I think that's one of his, you know, things you do. You get up, you make your bed. But I know I got it from someplace. I remember picking that up. Somebody says, when you get up, make your bed. Because it may be symbolic. It may be ritualistic, but what you're doing is, you know, you're ending that phase, that portion of the day. You're out of bed, the bed is made, and not only that, it makes the room look better, for crying out loud. It makes the room, and I like things neat. Let's just face it. I like things neat. I do. Even when my place is messy, it's not really messy. It could be dirty. Now I'll give you that. I will give you that. My place is probably dirty, sanitary. I ain't a big that, but it's neat. It's neat, and it's not dirty. It's neat and it's not dirty, but it may or may not be sanitized. In fact, I don't want to say my girl, but my girl, she was way down there hitting the trash cans of the metro station, and here's where I think she lives. I think that's her car. I don't know if you probably, I know you can't see it because I got a low resolution, but I think that's where her and her boyfriend live. I always see her out here with a guy. They was kind of, you know, sitting like they were having fun as a couple. Like they were enjoying each other's company as a couple. They were sitting like, literally like on the side of this fence kind of, you know. And I think lately I've been seeing them kind of park it back. In fact, that basket was parked there when I walked up. But I think she took it, you know, she got way down that far, you know. From the time I walked, she must have came right behind me almost. I don't know. But she be out there getting that money. It must be a thing. One time I see them walking back from, I think Carl's Jr. or something. Had a bag of food and a drink. Like, go ahead. Then again, who knows? What other money-making activities they may or may not be engaged in out here. There's some of that out here too. And I was thinking also, you know, I'm out here and and I see the homeless people, this and that, it would kind of, I think I would get upset. It may touch me, or definitely get to me. It would definitely get to me more than usual if I would see some kids out here. If I was to see some kids born into a situation, you know, that's not ideal or whatever, but who's to say? Maybe that's what they need. Maybe that experience will turn them into something where they grow up and create something or be something that saves humanity, just based on that traumatic beginning. Or not traumatic, but you know, to go through that. I don't want to put a label on it, just to go through whatever that is. Who's to say? You know? Who's to say? You don't know. You don't know. You know, I was born, my mother and them, we were homeless. And that gave me the drive to become a blah, 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 or to fight this or to start that. So you never know. Yep, here's the entrance to their house. That door right there. And that's where the cart was. I'm just saying, you know, you get to recognize people, know people for being out here. That's all I'm saying. You get all kinds of supposed to be no motorized vehicles on this thing. But who am I? Get off my lawn, you damn kids. That's me, and I relish it. Yeah, I gotta get myself going. I'm starting to feel better. Whatever better means. Less pain, less aches. I don't know why. You know, it may have been fleeting or passing. Neck muscles, bending over, slight tension, the back of my head. Like when I cough, or I feel like a little, not pain, but not irritation, but gnawing, muscle, something. My ingrown toenail is pretty much done. It's good, no problems with it. I got, I think, a little bit of plantar fasciitis in my right foot. One of the muscles there tends to stiffen up and kind of give me a little bit of, nothing that's gonna slow me down, but I can walk it off. But it's getting better and better. Shoulders, no nasal pain this morning. I feel pretty good. And I tell you, I woke up 202.4 this morning, which I don't believe for whatever reason. I think I might even change the battery on the scale. Because I did eat, but I guess I didn't eat, you know, as much as I used to. Look at Mickey's. I think that's a Mickey tall can. Mickey's malt liquor. I used to like Mickey's too. Coke 45 too. Not so much this malt liquor bull. Not so much this malt liquor bull. Old English was my go-to for a long, long time. Old English was my go-to for a very long time. Then I had to give it up because it was too much. It was doing things to me. So I went to Miller's Genuine Draft. And then, of course, from there, any other cheap beer we could find. Back then in them days. When we used to get a six-pack, to drive home from Pasadena. Me, Kelly, and Fever would go, because they work in Pasadena, and I live a mile away from where we work. But I would, every day after work, we stop, get a six-pack. I'd take 3, they would take 3. And drive out to the valley. Right up there to Sepulveda and Roscoe. And like I said, I didn't even know where I was. I just knew how to get there. I didn't understand the freeway systems. I just knew it by looks. Oh, I'm supposed to turn here, I'm supposed to turn here, turn there. That's how I would get to it. It wasn't years later, decades even, where I realized where I was going. I was like, oh, I've been here. I know how to get here. And I started realizing the 405 and 134, how that was all laid out. And then not only that, the Black Angus in Panorama City was one of my favorites. That was one of my favorite spots. Well, not like Acapulco to the Azusa, but I used to go to that Black Angus, Panorama City, and I kind of didn't know where it was. I just knew how to get there, blah, 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 blah. Then eventually, going to that Walmart in Panorama City, I'm like, hey, that's the Black Angus I've been going, that I was going to all those years. And they eventually tore the building down. I think they made it Aldi's or something like that. I was like, wow. Now I live out here. I live like mile, 2, 3, 4 miles from, that's my Walmart. Right across the street from the Walmart was the Black Angus that I used to go to. And like I said, I was just driving freeways. I just know how to go from one freeway to the next freeway, not really knowing the logic behind it. I just knew what to do and how to get there. Not knowing like where it was or its proximity or too much of nothing like that. I just knew how to get from point A to point B. Now look at me. Now look at me. That was my first stint in the valley. No, that wasn't my, well, that was my first, oh, no. How'd that go? Cause I worked at Live Entertainment. It was on Sherman Way in, I think it was actually in Van Nuys. In that valley. So I was driving there until we moved to Santa Monica. We got Blair Witch Project, became Artisan Entertainment. Used to be Live Entertainment, the Menendez brothers. So I was in the valley there, and I think I got an apartment. My first time at the same building that I'm in now. I lived in there for a while. I moved out, and I was kind of couch sitting or whatever. I stayed. Me and my cousin got us a place one time. I stayed with her for a while. I was there with my mother, but I was making money, so I was able to get hotels and just have my car, and I kind of enjoyed that life. I kind of enjoyed that freedom. You know, I had my laptop. I think this might have been before Wi-Fi in hotels was, you know, was dependable, or if you could expect it or not. I had a hotspot, blah, blah. So I was mobile. Kind of liked it. Had my convertible, travel light, keep it moving. Let me go online and see what one of the new hotels I found was. It was a Super 8 hotel on Sunset Boulevard. Newly renovated, cheap, new, clean. Woo! Put my car up in there, parked there, going about my business. I used to, every now and then I find a good spot like that. You know, I consider different things like weekly rentals, some kind of rentals, this, that, just, you know, non-conventional place. And then my cousin said, all right, it's time for you to move. I was like, okay. A week later, I had a place. Back in the same place. Ended up back where I had lived before. I've been here 20 years now. Going on 20 years. Over 20 years. It's funny when every now and then, there's like a lot of people in a small area. A lot is relative. You're talking about me. A lot to me is 3. Sometimes it could be like, it could be 3 people, but depending on the area, you know, it's like, hey, 3 people, how do all 3 of us, and I've seen it happen too many times. It could be 3 people on the planet. Eventually, they all gonna run into each other. For some reason, there's something going on with it. I noticed that, I don't know if people subconsciously slow down or speed up from a sensory thing. It could be even from a evolutionary thing or something in our subconscious or whatever. Predetermined, no, not predetermined, but you know, something in our system. 3 people in the same, it seems like they all gonna end up on top of each other. I'll be out here walking and nobody out here. Then all of a sudden, 2 other people show up and just the paths or trajectories we're on, or speed, velocity, whatever, it's like we all end up on top of each other. I'm like, what the hell? What's the chances? And it happens so much that I'm thinking it's gotta be something else going on. It happens too much. Like if I'm walking this way and there's somebody coming towards me from the front and coming towards me from behind, it seems like we'll all end up in a straight line. You know, it'll be boom, boom, boom. It happens. At least I notice it a lot. But that's where we're at, so kind of excited when I get home. First I want to get home, get my boot, you know, do my stuff. I might do this even before I sit down. I might get my boot, the USB stick I just made, stick it in my laptop, restart the laptop, see if I can get it to boot to that. And if I can get it to boot to that and have it, I want to see if it can see the drive that's inside the laptop. The one that I know works with the operating system, you know, the untouched one that's built in there. And I'm gonna see if that works and see if it works and all that. Then I'll take the one I bought, stick it in there, reboot it again and see if it sees that. And if it does, I should be able to do a restore from the backup I made. Just let it run. And then I'll have an extra 500 gigabytes because I only got 19 gigabytes left on this 500 gigabyte drive. And what I would do is I would take that drive out, put it in the adapter. See, I bought an adapter. Here's Amazon. I bought an adapter and the hard drive. SSD hard drive on Amazon yesterday, on Saturday night, and they came the next day. I mean, what the hell? I'm like, somebody was saying that they don't do Amazon or whatever. I was like, oh my God, Amazon is like the best. Waking up or have a package delivered to you. Are you serious? Ain't nothing like getting packages in. You even get to the point where you forget you order stuff and stuff be coming. Ain't nothing like coming home and having packaged gifts that you order, especially you get good deals too, and the logistics that they got going, the turnaround, et cetera, et cetera. Shoot. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I was wondering why that policeman stopped. Somebody on a bike was sitting there. You can't sit out there, man. You ain't lying in there. So, and they came yesterday and I was like, let me start doing something. So I decrypted the hard drive on the laptop. Then I made a backup. That took hours. And I just cut that on, went back to bed and let that run. And a couple times just started up, let it run. I had to take one of my external hard drives from the main computer and move it over to, because I have a drive where I keep all my video. It's not encrypted. I think it's 5.5 terabytes. One that I just keep my video on. 360 video, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I just, let me pull this over, throw the backup, restore backup on that, and then go from there. So hopefully I'll get back. I'll get my USB stick and be ready, plug it into my laptop, cut the laptop on. Hopefully I don't gotta go into BIOS and tell it to boot from the USB stick, et cetera, et cetera. And hopefully I can plug in the or leave the, I could plug in the external hard drive that has the backup copy, restore copy on it, and the USB stick in, and you know, it's fun. That's what I do. Then if it works, I'll have 500 gigabytes extra space because I was running out of space. And I carry when I travel, my main hard drive is portable. It's got Velcro on it, and it's a external 4 terabyte drive, and that's my R drive. That's the drive that I keep all my active stuff, my active, hot, immediate stuff that I use. Active, I guess that's the active word, you know, my hard drive on it. And I just take that with me. And I come back, plug it in, and I can back it up to the ones that's already there. It only has a partial. It has a good enough partial, you know, to cover me. And then the rest I can access. The rest I can access remotely because of the thing I got set up. I got it set up so that I got mesh net so I can remote in to the computer as long as I got an internet connection. Internet connection is what does it for me. And I can get to all my files. You know, being a network guy, being a computer guy, it's kind of, I went over an hour. Being a computer network guy, must feel good. Went over an hour. Being a computer network guy, and you know, having taken Novell certification, et cetera, you know, that connectivity is important. For whatever reason, me being able to get to all my files at any time is important. Not that I ever use it, but when I want to, it's nice to know that it works. I can remote into my computers at home. They're always on. I can remote into them, or I can mesh net. I can actually remote into them and get on them. Literally get on them. And I do that every so often to see the cameras, because I have cameras set up when I travel. And so I can see inside my apartment. And I do that. Check it. Just, you know, peace of mind or whatever. And the whole thing is, since I got the mesh net going, if I pull up the mesh net and I see, all I really need to see is that the computer's still active. And I don't have to remote in to do that. That's my thinking. You know, if something went down, those computers wouldn't be active anymore. And one time they became inactive and I was gone for weeks. I was like, I asked my niece to go to my house and turn the computer back on. And she did. And then while she was in there, I was, you know, I took control. She's like, wow. Then I was able to, you know, turn the cameras on and show her, you know, showing off a little bit. You know, showing I can do this, do that with my setup. So we'll see, we'll get back there and get that going, because I do have full capability when I travel. I take my laptop with me. My laptop has just about full capability. And the desktop was my audio program, Cubase Steinberg. the license travels. PowerLink, CyberLink. Power Director is my video program. It travels the laptop. I got a subscription. Yeah, but every time I switch computers, I gotta log in again and say, do you want to activate this computer? Yeah. And they got a nice set of tools. I got an AI photo enhancer. I got a audio program. I mean, it got some pretty much stuff. I pay like $130 a year for it, something like that. And I got a version on my phone too. Don't ask me why. I pay for a version of Power Director on my phone that if I had to, I can go ahead and do some next level editing of video and stuff. You know, I just like to have it. I like creativity tools. I just need to, it's all in place. I really need to get more aggressive and get a higher sense of urgency in getting some of this stuff done and produce. Because I got all the tools there. You worked hard, you put it together, you built it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Somebody coming. Somebody coming. They coming. Uh-oh. They coming. They coming. Y'all don't see them sitting right there? They coming. I see them down at the other end too. See them down there? Yep. They coming. They better, you see them coming. You better move them. Hey, another day, when I went home and did this and did that, I got in my car. When I came out to get Black and Miles, I got in my car and I came up and I picked up that Jeep Renegade tail light. I threw it over, like I remember where I threw it, where I left it. And I came and got it, put it in the back of my car, take it home, clean it up, put it inside my house. That's how much I love that vehicle. That's how much I love my car. I got my dream car. This is the one I wanted. For like almost 10 years, 5, 6, whatever, so many years, I rented cars. I got in good with the Enterprise around the corner from me. And they had a weekend special during the summer. And I was catching the train to work every day, so I didn't really need a car, except on the weekends. And sure enough, weekends come. Friday, I get up, go for the Enterprise, pick up a car for the weekend. And then it got to the point, hey, you might as well keep it. Okay, but you know, I pay, discount. You mean I keep it $9.95 a day? Okay. Or this or that, or, you know, we work something out and negotiate. You know, I'll be there just about every day. Not every day, but every week, get in the car. But it was limited to 100 miles a day. And then over that, you pay like 20 cents a mile or something. But I never went over that, you know. When I did, I'd negotiate unlimited. I think unlimited was 19 a day. So for a weekend, I get 300 miles. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I get 300 miles. And that was more than enough. I really wasn't doing that. But what happened was, the price went up, weekend special went away, and it's not that I couldn't afford it, but $32 a weekend versus $70 a weekend was significant in that I didn't want to pay that much and just have the car sit. There's been time I rented the car on Friday and didn't even drive it until I drove it back on Monday. And at $32 a weekend, you don't mind. You know, you don't mind that. You got a car at your disposal, something go down. You feel like doing this, you're doing that. Or even if you just, you know, take one trip. $32 is, you know, that was easy. But when it went up to like 64, That's when it got kind of like, I ain't trying to rent a car and then be for $64 and then be mad that I didn't use it at all. I didn't want that pressure, so I said, time for me to buy a new car. So, and you know, some things that went down as far as my job and inheritance. I gotta acknowledge the inheritance that I got from my father. I've got to do that. I've got to acknowledge that. And that, you know, it's significant, plays a significant role in my situation in my life. And it was a major investment by him. He put it together. And it's still working to this day. It's still working to this day. Meaning, I check it and it's very profitable. Very profitable. But anyway, guess what? Swinging on y'all 2 times. For me, for the phone. And for every elementary particle that has ever existed in any atom, in this or any universe that ever was, is, or will be. The totality of it all, theory of universe. Hypothesis of all as one. My name is Jeffery.